Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ISM Radio. I'm here at Oheka Castle for another one of ISM's Executive Networking Events, and I have the pleasure of sitting here in the library with Anthony Didio from TopRailFences.com. Welcome to Oheka, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
No doubt. Welcome. So you do some really cool work in Nassau and Suffolk County, and I went to your website, and I got to tell you, there are so many questions that you have when somebody calls you up and says, hey, I need a fence. I mean, there are so many prerequisites to know before you even, what kind of fence, where you live, what is it for, security, pets and dogs, or is it for privacy? There are so many different fences. So maybe you could break it down. And I mean, I'm telling you right now, go to the website at toprailfences.com and just take the quiz. I took the quiz today and I was amazed. So your website is pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's people look at fencing as though it's a commodity, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of questions that we ask our clients because we're really big on the customer experience. We want to make sure that the clients understand, it's a decent amount of money that they're going to be spending on a project. We want to make sure that they understand what they're getting and why they're getting it, right? So that's why we ask all the questions that we ask. It's probably more than you would typically think for putting in a fence, but that's why we do it.
No, right. But yeah, there are so many different styles of fence.
Absolutely.
And what are you using the fence for?
Yep.
What is your end goal?
I'll put it to you this way. You talk about different styles of fence. There's a company that we buy fencing from, and there's a catalog, and it's 115 pages of vinyl fence styles.
So
alone.
just that, 150 pages of just
115
vinyl.
pages of different styles of vinyl.
You guys do wood, you do metal, you do chain link, you do the vinyl. Obviously, you got a catalog with 150 pages in it, so you offer every kind. But you guys also do residential,
yes,
commercial, and agricultural fencing for people that have big farms and have to keep the cows herded in.
The cows, the sheep, the horses, yep.
And, all these things require different types of gating systems on how to get into this fence that you put up. And there are probably a gazillion options for gates as well.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about it out east on the east end of Long Island. You do some high-end work.
Yes.
And guys that have some, security gates to get into the property.
Yep.
And we were just saying what happens when the power goes out on some of these expensive gates that people have.
Yeah, there's all sorts of safety requirements that you have to have, but in particular, if a power were to go out, these gates have battery backups, and again, of course, the battery backups, they don't have a certain time frame, and especially if it's cold in the wintertime, those batteries will only last so long.
Right.
So, unfortunately, when those batteries do fail, then you're getting into good old-fashioned manual crank and open the gate up.
That's it, but you can open it.
But you can open it.
That's it.
Have to be able to open it.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing.
Yep. Yeah. So, give somebody the process. I go to the website, I take the quiz, you now get my information that I told you. I live on the beach and I'm looking for a picket fence, out in the Hamptons, and, this is what I want in the backyard. I may want something in the front yard. Yep. And what's the process like to get in touch with you, and now how does it start?
Sure. Yeah, so Top Rail Fences, you may know from looking at our website, is a national franchise. So we've got almost 100 locations all over the country. So we are able to capitalize on that brand power. Basically, what happens is you reach out to us through our website, you fill out a form, and then it goes to our U.S.-based call center. Our U.S.-based call center will then reach out and talk to the customer and establish the initial connection. What are they looking for? The linear footage, the type of fence. And then they then pass that lead, and they'll book the appointment for me or my team. We get that lead that comes to us, and then we analyze the lead. Sometimes we'll look online. We'll go to Google Earth. We'll look to size it up to see, what are we looking at. So we get a little bit of intel, about the customer before we show up there, because it's all about building rapport with the customer. We want to make sure we start out at the very beginning with a very good customer experience.
Right.
And then we'll go out. We'll do the estimate. We'll take our measurements. We sit there. We ask a lot of questions.
Sure.
Probably more than you would.
More than on the quiz.
More than on the quiz. But again, we're doing it with the assumption that we want you to know that we're not just here to sell you a fence. We're here to solve a problem. And that's the way we attack every single customer. We're here to solve their problem and ultimately to build their dream fence.
Yeah.
So the customer will then, reach out to us. We give them an estimate, and usually we turn around pretty quickly. 24 hours, 48 hours, max. It depends. If it's relatively simple fence.
On getting the quote out.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you get customers that want a little bit more unique, requirements. They want special design. So, some of the stuff is special order, and, we have to quote it out appropriately. But all in all, they get it usually. I have a thing usually 24 hours.
Okay.
And then we take a pride in following up with our customers. So like we're not nagging them for the business, but we're just letting them know that we're here, you know, because sometimes customers don't buy. Actually, most customers don't buy in the first time.
Right.
Sometimes they take weeks, or, you know, they're getting other estimates.
It's a big expense.
It's a big expense. And then what I do is I like to do a lot of education because, you know, a lot of customers, they don't know anything about fencing. That's why they're coming to me.
Right.
So I try to educate them, and I try to tell them, listen, you know, I'm not the cheapest, I'm not the most expensive, but this is where you should be. And if you're getting prices, I get this all the time.
Sure.
Customers will tell me, I got 5 quotes and the prices are all over the map. And so
not comparing apples to oranges.
Correct. And then what I try to do is I try to offer them, not because, listen, at the end of the day, if they want to go with me, they'll go with me, but I want to make sure that they're educated. This way, you know, if they do choose to go with another competitor of mine, fine. All right.
They
but
make
at least
the right choice.
I feel good knowing that they made the right choice. And if they go with me, great. Right. But if they don't, at least I left with some education and they understand what they should be looking for when they're comparing estimates, because it's all over the map.
Right. Prices, they vary, but you guys also offer financing to help them out.
Do.
So if you give somebody a quote and it's a high quote, they can finance it.
That's correct. Yeah, there's it's a unique offering that we have. We use a company called Acorn or WiseTac for financing, and it's really easy to do. It actually should take you less than a minute. It comes on our proposal and basically does a very soft check on your credit. You put in the numbers of what you want and your monthly payment in terms of how many months you want to spread it out over. And it's a good selling feature. Not a lot of companies do that, right? Because they don't want to get involved with it, but we've partnered with some really good companies that offer that. So it really helps.
Well, that helps the customers on their end financially. They say, hey, listen, there's a way for us to make this work, because not everybody has the cash to lay out instantly, or to put it on, you know, it's a big charge on a credit card.
Or they like it because of the fact that they can take half of it. Maybe they had $10,000 for a fence, and now all of a sudden they can take $5,000 out, put it back in their pocket, and then, you know, split it.
Right.
And it makes it, you know, okay, so I have $100, $200 a month payment for, you know, 12 months or 24 months, whatever it is,
Right.
you know, and it makes it easier for them financially. They could take that $5,000 and do something else with it.
Now, give me an example of, let's just say, the lady out on the east end of Long Island.
Sure.
She recently did a fence. She reached out to you. How long did it take from her initial consultation to the finished job of a fence, and what was the cost of that?
I think hers was a little bit of a unique scenario, but again, talk about the customer experience, right? So we had a lot of patience with her. She told me flat out she did not want white vinyl privacy. She lives in beautiful North Fork. She wanted it to be more of a blended scenario, so we went back and forth between wood. Eventually, we settled on a wood grain oak type privacy fence, and again, for her, it was probably a month and a half. She was a flight attendant, so she flew down to Florida. She visited one of our factories down in Florida that makes the fence. She actually got a sample while she was down there. I mean, she was really into it. But when you're going to spend $15,000, $20,000 on a fence,
That's
you know,
right.
And I said that, listen,
Big purchase.
make sure that you love it, because once we buy it and put it in, that's it. And
That's right.
so she did that, and I think the entire time she felt no pressure whatsoever. She left me a glowing 5-star review on Google for the services that we provided for her. But that was a little bit of an abnormal, you know, situation given the nature. Normally, turnover from the time that you book to the time we get it in is usually, depending upon what town we're in, right? Because there's permitting requirements in certain cases. So again, we have to wait on the towns in some cases. So, I mean, it could be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, depending upon.
And you cover Nassau and Suffolk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm licensed in Nassau and Suffolk County.
So if you guys need a fence anywhere in Nassau and Suffolk County, you got to head over to toprailfences.com. Now, I know it's a franchise, but we have Anthony here at Oheka today on the podcast. How do they get in touch with you if somebody here on Long Island is listening to this and they want to reach out to you? Is the best way to go to the website, or is there a phone number they should call, or an email address? How would you want them to contact you?
Sure. Typically, I mean, you know, if the website's geotagged, so if you're in the area and you Google, you know, toprailfences.com, it should, in theory, take you to Top Rail Fence Huntington.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And then that would be the initial way to inquire, because the minute they submit a request on the web and it goes to our call center, they know that it came from here. They know by the address and the zip code, so they know it's me and my territory, and then it comes to me.
Okay. And then you'll contact them and follow up.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, our call center is very quick. I mean, literally, obviously, if somebody's submitting something at 10 o'clock at night, you know, it'll wait till the following morning. But the call center's manned 7 days a week, or actually 7 days a week. And, you know, people come in and, you know, all hours during the day, and, you know, within minutes, they're getting a phone call. And, you know.
So the customer service is top notch.
It's very important to me.
The website's unbelievable. And if they have any questions, they could also handle it 3 o'clock in the morning and talk to people on the website.
This is true. That's right. We have an AI component on the website. And believe it or not, the AI has actually booked a couple of jobs for me where I've had clients that have come to me and said, oh, wow, Stephanie was really nice and she was really sweet and she was really attentive to my needs. And then I kind of joke around with them and I says, Stephanie was a figment of my imagination. And they're like, what? And I says, yeah, that was an AI chatbot. And they're like, no way. It sounded like I was talking to a human. I'm like, yep, that was AI. So AI has come a very long way, and Top Rail is really out in front of that because they know that AI is the way of the future. So we're incorporating it into everything, our bookings, our websites, our social media, everything.
100%. Not only is it in the forefront of everybody's business right now, but you guys are using it to make customer service that much better.
Correct.
And so it's turning into sales.
Absolutely.
And,
I mean, 5 years ago, you knew you were talking to some chatbot, right, on a website.
It was obvious.
It was very obvious.
It was bad.
It's so crazy. I've looked at the conversations that people have because I have the ability to see that, and the natural conversation that they have, it's like they don't even know they're talking to an AI chatbot.
It's really come a long way, and it does help business.
It does.
And you're here tonight at ISM's Executive Networking Event, Oheka Castle, and ISM has just built a chatbot for websites that can go on anybody's website. So if you do have a website and you need an AI chatbot, definitely reach out to ISM. That's why we're here tonight networking with people like you. And was this your first time at Oheka Castle?
No, I've been here a bunch of times.
Okay, so
for weddings, eating at the restaurant.
Okay, so then
corporate events.
Yeah, so then you know how great this place is.
This place is magical.
So we turned the library into our podcast studio tonight. A lot of fun, and I really appreciate you coming to the event tonight. And I hope you come back to a few more.
Oh, I definitely will.
Definitely, and bring some of your networking buddies with you, and that's how this whole thing grows.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, we really appreciate you tuning into ISM Radio. I am excited to show you Top Rail fences because I went to the website today, and I want you to know, I told this to Anthony before we got on the set here, and I said, I want you to know I filled out the quiz. I took that test, and you said you didn't even you don't think you've taken the test yet.
I've taken it, but they changed the questions a lot, so I can't keep up with it.
It was so in depth. It goes through 10, but it's really, really cool.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, for anybody out there that's looking for a fence, I would head over to the website and take the quiz because it really helps them break down your needs for what you're looking for. Because I didn't realize how many different fence types there were, how many gate entry systems that you can have. I mean, it's unbelievable. So kudos to you guys, man. You're doing a great thing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
You're very welcome, guys. So stay tuned in. We'll be back, and I'll put links to all his website and social media stuff in the description of the YouTube video. Gaige at Oheka Castle, ISM Radio, signing off. See you soon. Thanks for listening to ISM Radio. Join us for our invitation-only executive networking event at the legendary Oheka Castle. For more information, visit ideastreammarketing.com.